I refused to attend my older sister's birthday after finding out she planned to dump her and guests' kids on me. She raged, demanded gifts and babysitting, so I gave her an explosive surprise cake. I decided not to go to my older sister's birthday party after finding out she was planning to stick me with all the kids, hers and everyone else's. She threw a fit, demanded gifts and free babysitting, so I sent her something unforgettable, a surprise cake with a bit of a bang. My name's Lena, I'm 26, and if I had to describe how life's been treating me lately in one word, it'd be unappreciated. Not by everyone, to be fair, but absolutely by my sister Vanessa. She's 33, works in real estate, lives in a house way too big for just 4 people, and struts around her backyard in high heels like it's fashion week. Vanessa's always been that kind of person. The louder she talks, the more she thinks she's right. She'll post a perfectly curated photo of her avocado toast, never mind the chaos in the background that looks like a blender exploded. She lives for themed birthday parties, Pinterest-worthy decorations, and heaven help you if you show up without a gift that screams, "I know your soul." I used to grin and bear it. I'm the baby of the family, which apparently makes me the default babysitter. I don't have any kids of my own. And honestly, being surrounded by little ones for hours isn't my idea of fun. But I've always been the quiet one. Patient. And sadly, pretty easy to guilt into things. And Vanessa? She's got guilt tripping down to an art form. She never straight up asks for help, it's always sugar-coated. Stuff like, "You're just so amazing with kids," or, "I'd lose my mind if I had to do what you do." And for a long time, that flattery worked. It made me feel needed. Like I had a purpose. Important, even. But recently, I've started seeing things more clearly. It began with small stuff. Like last summer at a family barbecue. I spent the entire afternoon chasing after someone's juice-covered toddler while the grown-ups sipped cocktails and chatted about interest rates. I didn't get a plate of food. Didn't sit once. No one even said thank you. At the end of the day, Vanessa gave me a hug and said, "I owe you one," like that was supposed to mean something. Spoiler alert, it didn't. Another time, I showed up for what I thought was a casual dinner at Vanessa's, only to realize I'd been tricked into babysitting while she and her husband went out for sushi. "You're a lifesaver," she said, putting on lipstick and tossing me a list of emergency contacts. She came home 4 hours later. I didn't even get leftovers. So when she messaged me about her birthday this year, a low-key family get-together in her backyard, I was skeptical. I asked who was coming. She listed cousins, aunts, some family friends. Said it was gonna be super relaxed. Just grilling, drinks, music, and sunshine. Sounded harmless enough. Normal. She even added, "Really hope you can make it. Wouldn't be the same without you." I almost agreed. Then, about a week before the party, I was over at our cousin Jenna's place having coffee. Jenna's one of the few people in the family who sees through Vanessa's drama. She stepped out to take a phone call, and I went to top off my coffee. That's when I heard it, Vanessa's voice on speakerphone. She was cracking up. Not just chuckling, full-on laughing like she'd just told the best joke ever. I stood frozen in Jenna's kitchen, listening. She said, "Oh my god, I'm so glad Lena's coming. We'll actually get to enjoy ourselves for once. She's basically the family babysitter anyway." Then, between bursts of giggles, she added, "Hope she wears something stretchy. 8 kids is no joke." And I felt sick. 8 kids. No one had run that by me. No one asked. It was just assumed I'd be on kid duty. Like my invitation came with fine print. Like I wasn't a guest, I was hired help. And that stretchy comment? That really hit a nerve. Like the only thing that mattered was how quickly I could chase other people's children. I didn't say anything to Jenna. Pretended I had a headache and left not long after. Went home, sat on my bed, and just thought. All this time, I figured Vanessa was just oblivious. Maybe careless. But now it was obvious she wasn't clueless. She knew exactly what she was doing. And worse, she thought it was funny. She bragged about it. I knew then I had to say something. Not in a confrontational way, more like feeling out where she stood. So the next day, I texted her and asked if she had any plans for the kids at the party. Nothing big, just testing the waters. Her response? "Well, I figured you'd take care of that smiling face with smiling eyes, love you." Like she wasn't laying the guilt on thick between emojis and sweet talk. So I pushed back. Told her straight up I wasn't comfortable babysitting at a party where I was supposed to be a guest. I kept it polite, but firm. Her tone flipped instantly. She shot back with, "Wow." Then came the guilt trip. "Did you forget everything I've done for you?" Which is hilarious, considering all she's done is take advantage of my time and kindness. I told her I wouldn't be coming. She exploded. Not one passive-aggressive text, dozens. Full-on paragraphs. Told me I was ruining her birthday, that I was selfish, that I was making everything about me. She said I could have helped just a little, and that I was punishing her kids for her behavior. Then she had the audacity to say, at least send a generous gift, since you're bailing on family. At first, I thought about just ignoring her. Blocking her for a week and letting her spin in her own self-importance. But then I thought, no. Not this time. This time, she was going to get exactly what she asked for. A generous gift. One that would send a message. One she'd never forget. So I sent a gift. And it was one heck of a surprise. I sent a cake. But not just any cake. This wasn't a store-bought chocolate sheet cake. Nope, I went full-on Broadway production. My best friend Kayla works at this high-end bakery that specializes in over-the-top, custom cakes, stuff you'd see in viral videos for gender reveals, engagements, and in this case, sweet revenge. She and I stayed up half the night brainstorming, laughing so hard we cried, while putting together what we named the Glitter Bomb Queen. From the outside, it looked perfect. Elegant. Sophisticated. A tall, tiered cake wrapped in flawless white fondant, trimmed in gold, and topped with delicate sugar roses. Right across the front, written in fancy pink cursive, Queen Vanessa. But inside? Inside, it was rigged. With a food-safe, pressurized air mechanism tucked beneath the top tier. Kayla and her bakery crew got creative. They built this small, sealed compartment right in the middle of the cake, and packed it full of edible glitter and fluffy pink whipped cream. The idea was simple. The moment a knife hit the center with just the right pressure, boom. Instant explosion. Of course, nothing dangerous. It was completely harmless, just a little dramatic flair. I had it scheduled to be delivered the day before Vanessa's party. I even included a sugary sweet card with it, thanking her for being the queen of our family and for all the life lessons she'd given me about selflessness. It was the kind of sickly sweet, over-the-top flattery I knew she'd gobble up like dessert. And, well, she literally did. I didn't go to the party myself. I didn't have to. The real entertainment was always going to kick off once dessert hit the table. According to Jenna, everything at the party was unfolding just the way Vanessa always liked it. The decorations were way overdone, think Pinterest fever dream. The margarita machine was going non-stop. Kids were racing around the yard on sugar highs, while the adults stood around sipping drinks and faking polite conversation. And then came the grand moment, the cake. Naturally, Vanessa had to be the one to cut it. She posed next to it like it was her prom date, read my card out loud for the crowd, and giggled about how cute I was. Jenna said it was dripping with that fake sweetness Vanessa's famous for. She even called me her thoughtful little sister in front of everyone. And with phones up, people filming, guests huddled around, Vanessa took the knife and went straight for the center. That's when it happened. The mechanism triggered exactly as planned. A loud pop rang out across the backyard, followed immediately by a glitter and pink cream explosion that hit Vanessa square in the face like a whipped carnival cannon. It soaked her from head to toe, her hair, her pristine white sundress, her perfect nails, every inch of her was covered. Pink goo was dripping off her arms, and golden glitter stuck to her like she'd rolled in it. Some of the people standing close got a light sprinkle too, which only added to the moment's chaos. Jenna said there were about 10 full seconds where no one made a sound. Just pure shock. Then, somewhere in the back, someone clapped. Not sarcastically, like an actual clap of approval. A few guests started giggling, trying to hide it behind their hands. Somebody even called out, "Wait, was that part of the show?" Vanessa, however, wasn't laughing. She let out this piercing scream, not a little yelp, but a full-on high-pitched wail that made 2 kids burst into tears and nearly caused Aunt Barb to drop her wine spritzer. She was yelling for someone to do something, but honestly, what could they do? The cake had already done its job. The queen had been dethroned, and the crown literally had fallen off into a pile of pink goo in the grass. She stormed off into the house, sobbing, and left her guests standing around awkwardly like they weren't sure if the party was over or just on a dramatic pause. Meanwhile, the kids thought it was the best thing they'd ever seen. One of them even tried licking whipped cream off the lawn. Our cousin Zach, who's never liked Vanessa and doesn't pretend otherwise, texted me later that night, "You just dropped a nuke at the party. Vanessa looks like a unicorn exploded on her." I laughed so hard I almost dropped my phone. Later that evening, she tried to call me. I say tried, because I didn't answer. She left 3 voicemails, each one angrier than the last. She accused me of humiliating her in front of everyone, of sabotaging her birthday, and of crossing some kind of sacred line. The last message ended with her practically shrieking, "You ruined the best day of my year." Which was rich, coming from the woman who's been steamrolling my peace of mind at family events for over a decade. When I finally responded, it was with a single text, "It was just a cake. You should have appreciated the effort." Let's just say, she didn't take that well. She blocked me. On everything. Facebook, Instagram, her phone, even Venmo. Honestly? It was kind of a blessing. No more passive-aggressive likes, no cryptic Instagram captions about being let down by the people you love, and definitely no awkward texts a month later pretending she couldn't remember if I'd sent her a birthday gift. She went full ghost mode. And I've got to say, that week of radio silence? Absolute bliss. But the best part? According to Jenna, not everyone thought the glitter bomb was a tragedy. Some guests found it hilarious. A couple of them even asked her for the bakery's number. One person joked it was the highlight of the summer. Another said, well, at least something fun happened at that party. Apparently, it was the only part of the night worth remembering. Then, just a few days after Vanessa's glittery breakdown, something weird happened. She unblocked me. No message. No apology. Just quietly unblocked. I didn't say anything. I wasn't about to walk back into the kingdom of chaos. But sure enough, the drama started seeping back in. Her Facebook, which had been silent since Cakegate, lit up with classic Vanessa content, vague, self-pitying posts designed to reel people in. The first one read, "Some people think being cruel is funny. That's between them and their karma." No names, no specifics, but the timing? The tone? So obviously Vanessa. She followed it up with a bunch of heavily filtered party pics taken before the cake, of course, posing with her kids, margarita in hand, surrounded by smiling guests. The captions were pure melodrama: surround yourself with real love, 2 hearts, and betrayal doesn't come from enemies. She was laying it on thick, playing the wounded queen like she was gunning for an award. And of course, the comments rolled in. Most were typical, cousins staying diplomatic, acquaintances posting vague sympathy like, "So sorry you had to go through that." But one comment really stood out. It was from Aunt Deborah, our tech-challenged great-aunt who treats Facebook like live commentary. She wrote, "Honestly, it was kind of iconic. I haven't laughed that hard in years." That comment didn't even last an hour. Vanessa deleted it like it was radioactive. Because by then, she'd already spun the story her way. Jenna told me Vanessa had been telling people that I mailed her a dangerous device, that had exploded in her face and nearly blinded her kids. She framed it like it was a cruel stunt disguised as a prank, something designed to publicly humiliate her in front of the people who matter. Apparently, I'm not on that list. She'd recast herself as the tragic heroine wronged, betrayed, and glitter-bombed. Vanessa was playing the victim card hard, casting herself as the poor, helpless target of her cruel, jealous little sister. And, surprisingly, it kind of worked. A few relatives reached out, cautiously asking what had really gone down at the party. Then my mom called, in full panic mode. Her voice was tight, almost breathless, like she was bracing for bad news. "Did you hear what happened at Vanessa's party?" she asked, like I hadn't been the one who lit the fuse. I walked her through everything. Told her the cake was a novelty item from a fully licensed bakery. Totally safe, completely edible, designed for pranks, not pain. I even sent her the link to Kayla's bakery website, complete with pictures of their glitter divorce cake, which, for the record, had the words "finally free" spelled out in sprinkles. My mom went silent for a beat. Then she laughed. And I mean, really laughed. She asked if it was true. Did the pink whipped cream really explode like that? I told her yep, it went everywhere. She let out a loud snort. By the time we hung up, she was saying she wished someone had recorded it. Turns out, someone had. I haven't seen the footage myself, but apparently clips of the moment had started making the rounds in private family group chats like some mythical creature caught on camera. The glitter blast, the stunned silence, Vanessa's shriek, it had already become legend. And honestly? The cherry on top? A bunch of Vanessa's so-called besties started sliding into my DMs. One of them asked where I'd gotten the cake. Another said they were thinking of ordering one for their boyfriend's big 3-0. A girl I vaguely remembered from high school, now some kind of influencer doing beauty tutorials, messaged me saying that was honestly the best part of her birthday. I didn't even want to go. It was delicious. I didn't brag. Didn't post. Didn't say a single word publicly. I let the glitter do the talking. But somehow, Vanessa caught wind of the reactions, and she did not handle it well. She launched a full-blown Instagram story meltdown. One of those long chains of pastel-colored text slides packed with vague quotes and emotional hashtags. She ranted about fake friends who laugh at cruelty, about how tired she was of always being the bigger person, and even included a teary-eyed selfie tagged #healing through the hurt. Still, I kept my silence. Until she pushed things too far. Out of nowhere, I got a Venmo request. From her. The amount? $187. The note? Power wash plus emotional damages, smiling face with smiling eyes. That smiley face was the final straw. I declined the request immediately, but not before leaving a little note of my own: frosting washes off. Entitlement doesn't. 2 hours later, I got the notification: she'd blocked me. Again. A week went by after that. No more cryptic posts. No new drama. The group chats had gone blessedly quiet. I thought, maybe, just maybe, the glitter storm had finally blown over. It started to feel like one of those infamous family stories, the kind whispered about for years in hushed tones at Thanksgiving dinners, but never spoken aloud unless someone's on their third glass of wine. Then, out of nowhere, I got a message. But not from Vanessa. It was from Linda. Vanessa's next-door neighbor. Now, Linda's not someone I really knew. She's retired, dresses like she's always just stepped out of Sunday service, and has been on the HOA board since time began. According to Vanessa, she's nosy, uptight, and hell-bent on making fun illegal. But based on what I now know, Linda might be my new personal hero. Her message was professional and super polite, but the undertone? Oh, she was definitely entertained. She said she was reaching out to clarify a matter involving a recent incident at your sister's residence. Apparently, Vanessa had gone full petty and filed an official complaint with the HOA against me. Yeah. She claimed I'd vandalized her birthday party and damaged neighborhood property. No, I'm not joking. Vanessa had actually tried to escalate the situation legally through the homeowners association. In her complaint, she claimed the glitter from the cake had drifted on the breeze and landed in Linda's yard, turning it into a visual hazard and environmental concern. She said the glitter would attract birds and insects and had permanently altered the ambience of Linda's outdoor space. She even accused me of carrying out a deliberate act of sabotage disguised as a gift. She backed it up with blurry photos from the party like she was submitting evidence to some glitter-based crime unit. I half expected her to say the FBI had been notified. Linda looked into it. She checked her security cameras. Shockingly, no glitter clouds sweeping across her lawn. No bird stampedes. No bee apocalypse. But you know what was on camera? Vanessa's own pre-party social media post, proudly showing off the untouched cake with a caption that read, "Expect a bang, literally LOL." So not only did she lie in her HOA report, she also documented her awareness of the surprise in advance. She wasn't just in the loop, she was in on the joke before it even happened. And she forgot to delete the evidence. Linda, being the queen of neighborhood diplomacy, forwarded everything to the HOA board. And the board? Oh, they were not impressed. Vanessa ended up getting slapped with an official HOA warning for false claims, event mismanagement, and, to top it all off, excessive noise. Apparently, neighbors had already submitted noise complaints the night of the party. Her little suburban revenge plot totally backfired. And I didn't even have to lift a finger. Vanessa tanked her own case with her own Wi-Fi. But it didn't stop there. Turns out, Vanessa's antics earned her a little local fame. Linda passed the screenshots and complaint log to the HOA newsletter committee, not maliciously, but as part of a policy transparency initiative. Yes, that's a real phrase. They ran a full spread in the next issue titled, "Event Hosting Etiquette, What Not to Do." And let's just say, it didn't paint her in the most flattering light. Jenna told me Vanessa absolutely lost her mind when the newsletter hit mailboxes. She stormed across the street and pounded on Linda's door, demanding they issue a retraction and threatening to sue her for libel. Linda, unbothered and cool as a snowman in January, apparently told Vanessa that the HOA owns the newsletter and reminded her that she'd signed the membership agreement when she moved in. That was that. Vanessa stormed back to her house, red in the face and snapping at Mark in full view of the neighborhood, standing right there on the driveway, still stained with chalk from last summer's block party. And speaking of Mark. Until that point, he'd been completely silent. One of those guys who lingers at family gatherings like furniture, present, but not really part of anything. He was always polite, quiet, forgettable. Just there. I never felt close to him, and he seemed to navigate Vanessa's chaos the same way one might tiptoe through a minefield, carefully, and with the hope of not triggering anything. So it genuinely caught me off guard when he called. He didn't come at me yelling. No accusations, no anger. He just sounded worn out, like a man who's been walking on eggshells for years and finally ran out of space. He asked me if I could apologize, not for Vanessa, but just to help calm the waters. To make things easier. His voice had that tone. The one that says, "Please, I can't take another explosion." I let him talk for a bit, then I asked him one question: would you be okay being expected to work for free, while people trash-talked you behind your back? There was silence. Then a sigh. Honestly? No, he said. I told him Vanessa was the one who crossed the line, not me. He didn't argue. Didn't try to defend her. He just said he understood, and we ended the call quietly. I haven't heard from him since. But Jenna, the family's unofficial intelligence officer, says Mark's been sleeping in the guest room. The air between all of us is still thick, but it's not charged with hostility anymore. It's just hollow. Vanessa hasn't apologized. Hasn't called. Hasn't even acknowledged me directly. She doesn't need to. The social structure around her has shifted in quiet, irreversible ways. And everyone feels it. What started as a novelty prank cake turned out to be the spark that lit a very dry, overdue fuse. The fallout wasn't explosive in the soap opera sense, no epic showdowns, no dramatic family splits. It was slower than that. Quieter. And somehow, far more lasting. For as long as I can remember, Vanessa had this gravitational pull. Not because she deserved it, but because she demanded it. She was the loudest voice in any room, the self-declared queen of birthdays, gatekeeper of holidays, judge and jury of everyone else's life choices. She'd twist situations to fit her version of the truth, cast herself as the main character no matter the scene, even if it meant stepping right over someone else's feelings to do it. Most of the family went along with it. Some out of habit. Others just didn't want the drama. But the glitter incident cracked something. People started talking not behind her back, but just, honestly. Jenna said a few of the cousins, the ones who used to nod politely through Vanessa's digs, now openly roll their eyes when she starts one of her speeches. Nobody rushes to defend her anymore. No one automatically takes her side. The pedestal she stood on? Still there, technically, but it's definitely lost some height. And Vanessa knows it. The most telling shift came at Sunday dinner a few weeks later, at Mom's house. Mom, the family's unofficial referee, has always tried to stay neutral. But that night, she drew a line without even raising her voice. Vanessa was complaining again about not being appreciated. Mom paused mid-salad toss and said, "Vanessa, if you expect everyone to throw you a parade, don't be surprised if the confetti hits you back." The table went silent. Then Jenna let out a laugh. And everyone else followed. Vanessa barely spoke for the rest of the meal. And that was the shift. That was when even she seemed to realize things had changed. The cake didn't ruin her. Let's be clear. Vanessa's far too image-obsessed to completely self-destruct. But it did chip away at her facade. It knocked the crown loose. And underneath the filtered photos and curated queen persona, people saw what had always been there, someone who expects the universe to revolve around her and flips when it doesn't. Since then, a few of her friendships have quietly faded. No blowouts. No big scenes. Just silence. Friends stopped replying. Stopped tagging her in posts. Stopped pretending. Her old gym group no longer includes her in their girls' night stories. The mompreneur friend she used to brag about brunching with? Unfollowed. One of her former co-workers even shared a meme about chronic victim energy the same day Vanessa posted a sunset selfie with the caption, "Still healing from betrayal." Let's just say, the comments on that post were sparse. Some of them have disappeared now. Her Instagram's still up, but the vibe has changed. The captions are shorter, more muted. No more queen energy or passive-aggressive digs at toxic people. Just filtered shots of her kids, the occasional flower, and quotes that sound like they came straight from a mindfulness app. She's trying to rebuild. Rebrand. But it's not the same. And as for me? Something shifted there too. The last time I saw her, it was at Mom's again. She was already sitting at the table when I arrived. No icy stare. No fake cheer. Just a nod when we made eye contact. Calm. Measured. She offered me iced tea. Just like that. She hasn't asked me to babysit. No manipulative flattery. No guilt trips wrapped in sparkle emojis. There's a new tone in her voice when she talks to me, polite, respectful, distant. It's not warmth. Not yet. But it is something else. It's boundaries. And the wildest part? I didn't scream. I didn't beg. I didn't have to stage some dramatic confrontation. All I did was send a cake filled with glitter and it blew open everything. The frosting bomb was never really about revenge. It just revealed the imbalance that had been there the whole time. And once that curtain was pulled back, there was no stuffing it closed again.